Juma Mubarak mbokk yi ñu ngi leen di nuyu beneen yoon fii ci Africa TV waxtu bi daal di jot ñu dellusiwaat indi leen beneen édition Good Morning Africa fii ci Africa TV and of course mu nekk édition bu mujj ci week bi comme ànd nañ ak yéen di whole week ñu jeexal week bi ci lu am solo incha allah ñu war ko waxtaanee dalal suñ gan ñu yaatal waxtaan bi ci lépp lu nga xamante ne mooy fas nañ ko yéene tey waxtaanee ko ci jotaay ji. Well, viewers, once again, welcome to the program. This is the week's and an edition of your much loved and of course widely followed Good Morning program in the Gambia and beyond. And thank you very much for joining us. And like I said, it's the week's ending edition, so we have some very interesting matters or issues to talk about in our local stories, and of course we sometimes, of course, go beyond borders and boundaries to talk about some very interesting matters. So wherever you are around the world, we say good morning and thank you very much for joining us, or should I say also good afternoon to some of you and good evening is necessary, and I think it is because we are in the different parts of the world, and wherever you are though, thank you for choosing iAfrica TV and as always for being with us. Now this morning we'll be talking about in our stories, of course, a new political party it has joined the Gambia's political arena. We'll give you a full report on that in a moment. But of course, we'll also talk about the Gambia Red Cross Society, because of they have done some humanitarian support and all that, and that's what they're all about, and we will of course talk about that and other related issues in the sporting, or should I say national development. Of course, we'll also talk about some sports matters this morning, so our guest will join us any moment from now. But first we start with, of course, with the IEC, because after announcing, or the announcement of the registration of a new political party called the National Unity Party last week, the Independent Electoral Commission has on Thursday handed over the party's registration certificate to its leader. Fatmata Kasim has more details of that in this report.
The National Unity Party, the newest political party in the Gambia, is formed to mend the disturbing disunity in the country's social fabric, according to its founder. The disunity, according to the party leader Usman Jammeh, poses a threat to the survival of the peace-loving nation, and it is likely to erode the value of the pride of citizens. Jammeh said the NUP emerged as a party of its own to unite the people irrespectively of where one is from.
The fact that there is increasing disharmony, polarization in our society. Gambia is not known for that. Gambia is, as I said, a country that is really known for its peace and stability. And we pride ourselves in that. So this is a party that is really taking into account the environment that we are living in at the moment, and see the need to really unite all Gambians. And I want to emphasize the word all Gambians, irrespective of where you belong to in terms of the political ideologies.
He also elaborated on Gambians respecting the values that earn the country's recognition as the smiling coast of Africa. Jammeh said Gambia shouldn't be allowed to be enslaved by others scrambling for its resources.
Life is sad, when, we consider, our countries in Africa as rich. But we cannot really, we have to take ownership. We cannot allow others to come in here and take advantage of our resources and be our servants, our masters, and we be servants to them. So we are going to really have a conscious policy to make sure that we empower our own nationals, especially the youths and the women, to participate actively in the economic transformation of this country.
The founders said the National Unity is a party formed by well-meaning Gambians from all the regions of this country. They said the party reflects the diversity of Gambians' population and those of Gambians in the diaspora who feel the need to unite all Gambians. Fatmata Kasim, iAfrica TV.
National Unity Party is the newest political party to join the Gambia political arena as Gambia warms up for the 2021 presidential election. Of course, guess what? Some interesting times ahead. We're having more political parties, and that's that somehow speaks volumes. And of course, we will see what happens. But it's another party, another new promise, and we see how things pan out. Like I said, of course, as we get into 2021. Now we'll move on from that report and talk about the Gambia Red Cross Society because they have providing some humanitarian assistance. Now, the Gambia Red Cross Society is set to provide humanitarian assistance to families severely affected by the pandemic. Several families have been hardly hit by the economic impact of the coronavirus as a result of government measures meant to cope its spread in the country. Ibrahim John tells us more of that in this report.
The Gambia Red Cross Society is implementing the humanitarian body's famous slogan, "With humanity towards peace," as they get set to distribute cash to households impacted by the pandemic. Abdullah Faye, the program's manager of the Gambia Red Cross Society, said they will provide financial aid to almost 3,000 households in the Gambia.
We will be also doing cash transfer, for almost 3,000 households in the Gambia. So almost 3,000 households in the Gambia, we are trying to ensure that we provide cash, support to all these households.
2,000 families have been already assessed, and the disbursement of the relief package is expected to commence soon, according to FAI.
The first 2,000, we are just finalizing one or two things, and then we have already done the assessment. We have assessed 2,000 households for one of the sites that the IFRC is going to support. We have also assessed up to 350 households that the EU with the Spanish Red Cross is going to support. But we have also made an assessment for 594 households that the Canadian government, that is the government of Canada, is going to support. And previously, with the support from the Spanish Red Cross, we have supported 169, households on supporting them with food and some cash.
Each household is expected to receive $3,600 from the Gambia Red Cross Society. As the Gambia government gradually loosens emergency regulations, poor and vulnerable families would require enormous financial and food aid as the country's economy opens up to full recovery in the coming months. Ibrahim John for iAfrica News.
All right, thank you very much, Ibrahim John, there with that report as the Gambia Red Cross Society support vulnerable families amidst the impact of the coronavirus pandemic in the country. It has been quite a very difficult month, as we all know, of course, in this country and of course around the world. So as a humanitarian organization, it will only be wonderful or appealing for them to support vulnerable families as highlighted there in the report, and we hope it will have a great impact on supporting the various households, close to 3,000 as they said or more in this difficult time. Now we move on and still remain on the related matters of COVID-19 and all that, because the government of the Gambia has been losing or relaxing measures of COVID-19, and gradually business aspect to recover or to pick up. Now we'll get to our next story, because the Gambia is gradually opening to economic recovery as the coronavirus pandemic appears to have slowed down. Now, the president, Adama Barrow, announced it was reopening the hospitality sector and recreational facilities as of Thursday. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Public places such as hotels, motels, lodges, bars, restaurants, video clubs, museums, public swimming pools, and gymnasia throughout the Gambia are allowed to resume operations 6 months after they were shut down. These places of business were closed by COVID-19 regulations imposed by the Gambia government in March to halt the spread of the virus. The measures, which includes the closure of land, sea, and air borders, did not stop the spread of the virus, but they severely hurt small businesses like restaurants and gym centers. The government said Wednesday through the spokesman, Ibrahim Sankare, that the businesses can now resume operations but must adhere to the regulations still in place meant to protect people from the coronavirus. President Adama Barrow will deploy the police to this effect to monitor compliance with the COVID-19 rules known as the Emergency Health Regulations. Offenders will be fined or face jail time, according to President Barrow. Businesses are mandated to clearly display the 1025 toll-free hotline of the Ministry of Health within their premises and shall encourage all staffs and visitors to call the number for information on the COVID-19 pandemic. Gambian authority banned public gathering in March, effectively shutting down restaurants and other small but key players in the tourism industry. With only takeaway services available, restaurant owners saw their earning severely crumbled and some forced to shut down completely as a result. Fatmata Kasim reporting for iAfrica TV.
All right, thank you very much there, Fatma Kasim. And, I think there's a good news for some of the businesses that have been shut down for many months due to the coronavirus pandemic. We have seen now many of those business places, hotels, restaurants, bars, are finally allowed to operate as announced by the government. So thank you very much in that. Now we'll move on to our next story, and of course, we will talk about sport related matters now, and of course we will in a moment also of course tell who our guest is this morning. But first to the story, because we talk about sport, and Gambia's Minister of Youth and Sports, in an interview with a local based TV station, Start TV, has debunked claims that the Gambia Football Federation used to fund the teams, saying that it is the government who usually fund the country's national teams. Now, last year, in a leaked document published by Africa, of which is believed to be the Gambia Football Federation estimated cost for both home and return leg matches for the Scorpions 2022 World Cup preliminary matches against the Blancas Negras of Angola, estimated over $15 million, was addressed to the sports minister for consideration. The newly appointed minister coming at this time to clear the air on who fund the Gambia national football team has sparked some debate within the football fraternity. Let's take a listen to the minister on this in his own words.
Man lima xam ak lima receive si handing over dafa utek yow li nga wax parce que as far as lima fi ñu fekk moy national teams yépp government ñoko sponsor. Government ñooy fay seen tickets yi ñooy fay seen accommodation ñooy fay lépp li nga xam ne luy dem ci wàllum football la ci biir réew mi fii ak su teams yi di génn ci biti loolu moo fi nekk. non waaye yenn yi xëy na mu am façon yooyu noonu nga xam ne xëy na dañ war a jënd ticket mais bi government amuñ xaalis at the time ñuy wax GFF bi ñu finance ko ba dañ leen dee delloo seen xaalis su government subvention bi ñëwee. So as far as fii fi mu nekk nii right now, according to Luma PSB work, ministry bi amee luñ xaalis GFF waaye most of the matches government ñoo dee fay everything ñooy fay seen tickets yi even seen Portugal game bi nii sax the same thing la I mean seen test match bi ñoo def nii in Portugal right now loolu la ñu ngi waajal Gabon in November loolu yi tamit already gaa ngi work liggéey ak ñoom through the PS pour gis ne government dugal nañ xaalis ci yëfi ticket so government ñoo dee fay du nekk loo xam ne nii lu jaar yoon la pour nit wax ne GFF ñoo dee sponsor all of those things no government ñoo ko dee fay ñoo dee fay tickets ñoo dee fay everything loo xam ne lu jëm ci wàllum football teams yi ak seen participation both in
jërëjëf mu ngi noonu kooku mooy di Minister of Youth and Sports ministre bu gàllo wàllu ndaw yi ak tàggat yaram moom moo doon leeral noonu di leeral ci li ñoo wax ne Gambia Football Federation ñoom ñooy dépense national team si moom nag daal dina weddi claims yooyu mu ne neenal loolu yëf yi demewut noonu nguur gi ñoom ñooy daal di yore dépense bi di fond national team bi mu ngi doon joxe ay references and loolu nag tax na coow li bari ci diggante ndax noonu la demee am déet loolu xam naa yéen mun ngeen ci am seen jàngat waaye tamit am na gan ki nga xamante ne ñu dimbale ci lu yaatu ñu waxtaan ci loolu yëf yi naka la war a mun a demee ndax yàgg na si sports te jiite na sports su ma leen ko wanee léegi nii rek da ngeen xam kan la now that was the newly appointed Youth and Sports Minister there, clarifying on that, of course, with regards to the funding of the national Gambia football national team. Of course, many, of course, as you heard there, it has been said that it's the Gambia Football Federation that, in most cases, normally that funds the, the national team participation in both home and international matches. And of course, but he have refuted those claims, saying no, government would always do what it's supposed to do because the government owns national teams. I think that's an open secret. And that being the case, and as the newly appointed minister, he said, no, I mean, GFF is not funding, and of course, they have been taking full responsibility of that. Now, of course, I am glad to say joining us to digest all this and others, and of course to take us through on the matter. I'm glad to say I'm being joined by the former chairman of the National Sports Council, Mr. Bori Dabo. Mr. Dabo, thank you very much for joining us this morning so we can talk about this and other related matters in Gambian sports, football in particular. Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. Just allow me to say hi to our listeners.
Yeah, morning. I'm glad to be here. And I thank you very much for welcoming me to the studio.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like I said, if you are just joining us, he is the former chairman of the National Sports Council, and of course he would help us to digest or to go through all these issues because there are controversies around. Mr. Dabo, thank you again. Like I said, you heard from the minister there trying to clarify and refute claims as highlighted in the report, and it has been a hot debate, especially in social media, who fund the national football teams, especially in recent years. Now, you have been at the National Sport Council responsible to some of these matters. What can you tell us about this whole issue? How does it work, especially when you were there at the time?
Thank you very much. Well, surprisingly, you have to hook me out to be here this morning.
Absolutely.
It's unfortunate, but then as a citizen, and also somebody who sees himself as part of sports, I think it's also welcoming that I also be on board to shed light on anything that I know or may have come across, even before or during my time. So what the minister said, actually, it is right.
Yes, you.
Sorry for that.
Yeah. Okay. We will.
Yes. Whilst I was coming in, I had the response from the minister about who funds the national team. Well, basically, all over the world, we know the national teams the government are responsible for everything that encompasses the national team. And he is right. The government is responsible for the national team and not the GFF.
Yeah, but there's been this claim that GFF is doing much of the bulk in funding the national team. Of course, he said that GFF sometimes would chip in and fund in case the ministry or government cannot provide money, so they needed monies at the right time, and then GFF can chip in and do the payments, and later on they will be refunded. At your time, and of course you have been there as the chairman of the National Sport Council between national associations and the government. Now, how normally these things work? And you say the minister is right, government do pay. Is it right that GFF entirely sometimes are responsible for funding the national team, or at every needed time or given time when necessary the government would do what is expected from them as government, of course, like you said, government-owned national teams?
As alluded by the minister, when I was there, in fact this was when newly the coalition government came into place. I know the GFF would pre-finance the activities of the national teams. And if government did not have fund at that immediate time, what they do is they pre-finance all the activities of the national teams. Either is the under-17, the under-20, the senior team. They would pre-finance. Because what happened annually, FIFA will provide $200,000 for the upkeep of the national teams. So in the event government did not put in money at the time, because that $200,000 is for national teams' participation in CAF and FIFA activities. So obviously, GFF would pre-finance those activities. Then in the event that the government get the funds, they refund back to the GFF. So that's why he said it's the government that sponsored, not GFF. GFF could pre-finance, but at the end of the day, when they claim, the government pays back. Yeah. And I think recently, if I could get it right, $29 million have been paid back to GFF because they have claimed all the backlog of what has not been paid. So I think $29 million have been paid by government to GFF for all national team activities on the claims that they have made to the government. So obviously, even that alone tells everybody that it's the government that caters for national teams' participation.
All right, interesting. I think this is a good clarification because there has been always this debate who funds national team or government is not doing what is expected.
You know, the whole thing is our sport has been very steady, and then people do not want to come out plainly to tell the truth. People will always hide behind shadows, you know, one way or the other, trying to do things that are not correct.
If you say people, what exactly?
Because one, the Sports Council is there. The Sports Council is the main body that promotes sports, that would be able to take care of every sporting activity in the country.
And regulate.
You know, regulate it, you know, monitor and then promote. But you see, Sports Council sometimes are parked at the corner.
By the
you know, when I was there, GFF were doing a lot of things that were not in line with the National Sports Council policies. Because Sports Council will be bypassed, and then they'll be dealing their activities with the ministry directly, which was, we don't say don't go to the ministry, but have a channel where you pass all your requests or whatever you need. Sports Council should be in the picture so that they know, and then they'll be able to talk on your behalf so that all those things are put into proper perspective.
Why do you think that was the case? Is it because you were there at the time and probably you didn't have a good rapport with the GFF or what? Because, I mean, if they are bypassing you and directly dealing with the minister, something somewhere might have gone wrong.
Yeah, you know, my tenure was a little bit controversial because when I was appointed, you know, they were saying Bori has just come for witch hunting. Which hunting was that?
Okay.
You know, all we want to see is our sports bodies are properly administered. There's transparency. Because look, it's the athletes that sweat for the nation. So if funds come in, those funds must be properly utilized. And the Sports Council should know where those funds are going. Because even if you are traveling, one member of the Sports Council, either from the Secretariat or a board member, should accompany the national team.
Yes.
And up to the time I left, I'm not saying hardly, they hardly even travel with Sports Council. They do, but hardly during my tenure. And I don't know whether it's the same thing up till now, I don't know.
Okay.
You see, because Sports Council has all the responsibilities to make sure that our sports is being regulated, and that any program that is brought up, they should be able to look at it and be able to address and advise the ministry.
Okay, that's very interesting. And before we, of course, I want us to widely discuss in that area and the role of the National Sport Council with National Association, especially with the GFF, which we are trying to explain during your time, the relations with the GFF, and I'll get it. But first, you mentioned about the 200,000 coming from FIFA to help upkeep national teams, and again, government also is expected to.
Yeah, that's why I said there's no transparency. The national team is a government's responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, now FIFA would also chip in $200,000 annually for participation of the national team in FIFA games and then CAF games.
Means to
exactly
to,
either
to support or
to support their registration and I think even their flights or accommodation, because FIFA want to see every nation participate in their activities. Because they know at times government will have some bottlenecks. And that's why FIFA is doing this, so that no national team would say we are not able to participate because we could not get money from our government. So FIFA brings in this amount to support national teams' participation.
But what we know sometimes,
sometimes
what we do here is GFF, are taking monies that are meant for other purposes. Supposedly they should not fund national teams, but there are monies from FIFA and they are meant for other purposes to develop football, and they have to take those monies and spend on the national teams instead of using it in the design, of course, or the targeted area of football development. What did you make of that? Now you are telling us there is 200,000 coming from FIFA.
That's what I'm saying. I said there is no transparency. It seems everything is confused. Because if they're saying government is not funding the national team, which obviously everybody knows that's not fact. Those are just baseless. Because if you pre-finance the activities of the national teams.
But does really government own up the national teams? That's what people are saying also.
They own, whether they own
up the national teams, doing what is expected, because for example, when we see in Gambian case, sometimes you feel like it is
it's the notion that the GFF has put in the minds of the Gambian people.
Oh, really?
Because of a lot of politics that is involved in sports. This is the problem. A lot of politics is involved in our sports. Because if you hit one sector, they have to have a way out where they will go and then hide behind. And instead of telling the people the real truth, they will not. How much money is FIFA sending annually? Every cycle. Previously, I could say from, is it Sidi Kinte or Gabi Sose, if I get it right, FIFA would send like 250,000. But as of now, FIFA sends every cycle $5 million US.
Yeah.
You see? And that is for sports development funds, for infrastructure, and for national teams. That $5 million should be able to take care of that. This $5 million that is coming annually, that's for national team or for development funds. They have to look and then develop our sports. They also have to build infrastructure, like Mauritania is doing, like Senegal is doing. From that FIFA fund, they will try to build infrastructures that sport entities would be able to use. And
but then again,
and then for the national, I'm coming, and for national team. Now again, you have $200,000 given by FIFA for national team participation in both FIFA and CAF activities. Again, government funds in, because if you spend in, now, if, for instance, if you have this 200,000, that is for participation. They have to, that's why I said everything needs to be cleared, so that the people's mindset would know, yes, this 200,000 is for this government fund is for that.
When you were there, does government know that this 200,000 was coming purposely to upkeep, to support national teams? And if yes, how does that normally help?
Well, GFF will always parade themselves as, its own is an independent institution.
Again, because they are not funded.
That should not be audited by government, because government is not giving the fund. Government is giving the fund because government owns the national teams.
Yeah, but
wherever government puts in, even if it's a single dollar, the government should be able to probe into their activities.
Yeah, but
each time you want to do that,
FIFA is no government interference in.
Look,
in
that non-interference, people are always talking about that. You can interfere, and then as long as you have the facts, you move and put those facts in front of FIFA. If they want, let them come with their independent, and they do that. Normally FIFA would do. They would send independent monitors or people who will come investigate on the ground without even the sporting body knowing it. And then when their findings are done, they go back to Zurich, and then they'll be able to analyze what they have found on the ground, and then they decide. You could even be suspended for 2 years. But when FIFA established that, actually what the government did was right. FIFA will quickly, if we have seen it here in Mali, Mali was suspended within a period of 2 weeks. You see, I think, I don't know if Jammeh Bojang is around, whether he's in the Gambia right now or not. At least maybe you can invite him. He will tell you, Jammeh Bojang was one of those guys that were assigned by CAF and FIFA to look into why Mali was suspended. Yeah. And then within 2 weeks, they reversed it because they know what the government did was right. There was a lot of corruption and then the funds were not being properly utilized.
Yeah, but these monies are coming from FIFA, as you just mentioned. But then again, every year in, year out, GFF are cleared and are approved by FIFA, saying they are doing a very good job. We are giving you money, and accountability is on top. And this is what we expect from you. And anytime GFF demand anything from FIFA, they are approved.
That is very simple to help you. You give me the funds.
Yes.
You are there. Yes, you may send in auditors, but let's say I'm giving $5 million to spend in 4 years. Now, we have stakeholders here. Go around and ask the stakeholders. How much are they benefiting from GFF? Are their parks being taken care of?
Yeah, but GFF don't own parks also.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
But this is for infrastructure. So if they don't own from the FIFA fund every 4 years, they should be able to do something.
Yeah, recently we have seen projects are going on.
They should be able to come up with parks of their own. Senegal is doing it. Mauritania is doing it. Even the TV station, Mauritania. From the FIFA fund, because it's for development. We can do the same. But it's not been done. If you say, yes, we have been audited, you have the funds, you have your pen and paper, you start writing down this amount is given to iAfrica for publicity and whatever. You just write down up to the point that you reach there, you are able to fix that $5 million.
Whether it happens or not.
Yeah, whether it happens or not, you provide the fund. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but probably that's what is happening because there's nothing transparent.
But is that not allegation?
It's not allegation. There's no allegation.
You were one time a member of the GFF.
There's no allegation. Remember when I went in,
yeah.
GFF, look, there are documents. I don't know, because you called me, I was rushing, so I do not. When I came in and then we trying to look at what GFF have done from FIFA fund, a building that was built by during Sidi Kinder's time, that is the gold project. Now the gold project is been renovated by $40 million, more than how the amount it was built. A toilet was built for $1.5 million. You believe that? 33,000 US.
Yeah, but
so if you collate all those things and send to FIFA on the paper, this is what we have done.
That's not. You are saying that's not justifiable.
That's not justifiable. Where in this world, even the Queen's toilet, you cannot build it for 33,000 US.
Okay.
You can't.
So, I mean, again, you have brought here a long-time issue of which I think many of the followers would know.
So,
but then again,
so before you move in, to clarify, government owns the national teams.
Yes.
And government provides funds. In the event they are not able to provide funds at the material time when it's been requested, GFF pre-finance. When they pre-finance the activities, they would send into government how much money they have spent on registration or on air tickets, on accommodation, on allowances paid to players and then the members of the delegation, and they would request this from government, and government in turn would pay back to GFF. So no money is lost on their side as well, because that means government owns. So that the minister is right to say government funds, because if you pre-finance, that means putting money before you get your money, before government comes in. So if you do that and government refunds, then who is financing?
Yeah, exactly. Now again, still on the figures, by the way, in most cases also,
and
in
recently,
Gambian
as
context,
I said, $29 million has been refunded to GFF by government. Find that out. But I had it clearly, and that guy would never deceive me.
$29
million, yes.
Yeah. But then, that's also not much somehow in
yes,
football.
but that is the claim they have done.
Yeah.
If you say this is what you have spent over the years, and that government have not put in, and now government decided that, okay, I think it's right. It is our baby. This is our own responsibility. We own it to ourselves. Then we have to pay. Then they decided to pay. Okay. So you cannot turn around and say, no, government is not funding the national team.
Yeah, but in most cases, in fact, probably it's not an official statement from the GFF also, it's good we say that, but people, Gambians, somehow, in many cases might feel that government is not doing what is expected in time, because you see Gambians in time, when we are playing friendly matches, we have ticketing problems, of which I think government should have played a role. But then again, coming back to the figures, the money that has been involved, which have been the issue here. At your time, when you receive a request from the GFF, because many times people will think that sporting officials or associations, I should say, the demand, the figures that they put on paper, many Gambians, when they saw the cost, they found this is unjustifiable. how do you normally deal with those issues before you get to the ministry? It's because we have seen a document, a leaked document, as I highlight in the story from GFF, where you can see, I mean, for example, a person would say, I mean, I don't know how some of these things are highlighted in the document. The cost that I mean, I just wanted to specifically mention a thing or two, but then I don't think I should. But then at your time, when you were there, how do you normally assess, or process the demand, because like I said, many things, the cost sometimes are just is unjustifiable. How does it work before it gets to the minister?
What
before
happens
government
here,
will sit on it and then reform
that's why I said, in fact, what happens is when national associations, whether it's football or whether it's athletics or is volleyball or is basket or is wrestling, now when they are about to have events, they will write to the ministry through the National Sports Council that they're going to participate in events so and so at time so and so, and then they would put in a requested amount. Now, if it is going to be home-based, feeding and so on, would be made. If it is outside the Gambia, they will also put in all the amount required for accommodation, for logistic, because going for training in and out, and the Sports Council will look at the document that they have sent. And now the Sports Council, the executive director, would look at it, and then the board also, or on behalf of the board, will look at what they have requested for, and now that document will be minuted to say that sports association so and so engage in a particular event, either home or outside, and this is the fund required, and that would be sent to the ministry. They will request on behalf of the sporting association that requested that fund. Sports Council will now minute to the ministry because funds to the Sports Council are being subvented by the ministry. So Sports Council cannot fund the activities of the sporting association. All we do is send the document to the Ministry of Sports to look into those requests of the various sporting associations for immediate action. So if the ministry decides, they'll have their technical team, they will sit over it, and probably the executive director will be involved on behalf of the council, and because he would have to report to the board. And then, they would say, okay, this is what they have asked for, but
normally, do you normally have issues on the figures, that are brought before you for consideration before it will get to the highest, to the ministry, in terms of the demand, let's say the allowances and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we would, of course, sometimes some figures are astronomical, and looking at what you have or what you are even being subvented for that month, like say Sports Council, sometimes you have about 200,000 for a month. You're looking at staff salaries and other operational costs. As an entity, they cannot handle that. So if you come with a budget of, let's say, 500,000, that is referred to the government, to the ministry, or to the government through the Ministry of Sports, to make sure that the funds are made available. So it's the ministry's responsibility now to determine how much should be given to the sporting association, and not the Sports Council.
If the National Sports Council is subvented, let's say 200,000 in a month, again, government's responsibility in sports, the budget, national budget allocation to youth and sport alone is somehow questionable, Mr. Davo. Don't you think so?
That's why maybe I thought that may come last. But that's the reason why Sports Council took the initiative to write to government for a sport levy.
Yes.
If you could remember.
Yeah, indeed.
And it was our baby. Marcel and the team and the board, we sat over this. We said, look, in order to fund our sporting associations or activities, we need to have fun. And that's why you have Sports Council, for development, for promotion, and for regulation. And all those things cannot be attained if there are not sufficient funds. So looking at that, we said, with the secretariat, I think we need to come up with a strategy that, when adopted, could help alleviate some of those burning issues that come in and out. So if we have the funds at our disposal, we will be able to take care of their request. Instead of every time, we could attend to their request and then notify the ministry that this is what we have disbursed to, association A, B, C, and D.
Okay.
And remember, when this was done, we made a lot of follow-up until finally government accepted it. Now this sports fund has started, and Sports Council has no control over it. We don't even know how the money is being spent.
And you wanted to have control over the money?
Well, this was our idea. The idea, yes.
But why all of a sudden the change?
Well, the ministry has to answer to that, because I remember when there was a question in Parliament, when they asked the finance asked the ministry, because I think finance finally transferred everything to Minister of Sports. And I think when Hadrami came in, you know, he mixed up everything.
But before Hadrami was, how I mean, again, I'm forgetting the first sports minister who promised that entirely he's going to transform Gambian sport from where it was to 100%. It was, is it Gomez? Of course, I think it's Gomez, if I'm right. She was the first, sport minister. So I think probably, what do you think of his tenure also? Because we are talking about Hadrami, but Hadrami succeeded someone else before he came in.
Yes, Henry came with all his failings, or whatever you may call him.
Yeah.
But he has a bold idea that he wants. But remember, that was the time he brought me in as a chairperson of a sports council.
Yeah.
And Henry's time, obviously, was very challenging, because left and right, as a minister, he's been challenged from all angles. From all angles. So the vision he has, and that he wants to implement, he cannot attain it. Because you need to have the people around that share the same vision, so that we'll be able to save our sports.
Okay.
And then those challenges are there, and they could not be attained. We've called for, we've tried so that we'll have a national sports forum, where all stakeholders would come on board. You ask Marcel, I wish you invite him. He would be able to dilate all those things.
Okay, you were talking about Hadrami Sidibe, that he's the problem you're trying to say?
Look, what I'm saying here, when the sport, because it was approved in his time.
Yeah.
So obviously, now when this amount was, that is the GSM contribution to sports. I think when you call every 50 bututs goes to sports,
which
sports
was widely embraced
sports
by the
fund.
sports.
Like anytime you buy a SIM card, know that 50 bututs is being deducted. That is to take care of our sporting activities. So now funds should be managed. Now the owner of the idea is being sidelined completely. That's the Sports Council. So it's like Sports Council is there as a name. All its functions are not being properly done, because whatever they even request, hardly they get it. Hardly. They have to be following it up day in, day out.
And this is because?
The ministry wants to control everything. Okay. And then of recent, they have spent over $43 million from that sports fund. Sports Council not even aware of that.
Okay. Interesting. I know there are a lot of issues that we should discuss on all this more, and of course the time that we have would not allow us to do all that. But then moving on, we have a new sports minister, a young man for that matter, and of course there are a lot of expectations. I don't know whether you know him or not, but then the youths have welcomed his appointment as the new sports minister.
Yeah, before we go into that, let me clarify here.
Okay.
Because like associations, as I said earlier, their first channel of report is the Sports Council.
Yeah.
In whatever form, from GFF, it should be through the Sports Council. And up to the time I was there, and I believe even now, maybe up to the day this man was appointed, you see, not all the sporting associations, but most sporting associations will bypass the Sports Council and channel through the ministry. So the Sports Council, both the board members and the executive, the secretariat, would just be receiving directives when they were not even engaged. That was wrong. Hadrami condoned it, and when we challenged, Marcel, through the board, sent letters upon letters, because through board meetings we've raised this concern that the sporting associations, whatever form they are, whatever issues they have, whatever they need, requirements, should be channeled to the Sports Council. And the Sports Council, as the advisory body to the government, should now take up that responsibility to engage the Ministry of Youth and Sport to address those issues. I'm coming.
Yeah.
And then,
You know what happened?
I just wanted to say, you said most of the associations, you know, maybe deal directly to the minister, but
GFF will always bypass.
This is what I'm saying now.
Yeah. I'm coming.
Okay.
And the person who made that possible is the former minister, Hadrame. This is the letter of the 29th of May. Concern. And he blasted the Sports Council. Yeah, if you allow me to read, I will read.
Yeah, you can just give us some of it.
You know, he said needless to lecture. He said needless for the Sports Council to lecture on the roles and responsibilities of the council towards the national associations or federation. The ministry is responsible for all strategic direction and can deal directly or indirectly with any stakeholder in sports.
You know, this was the response from the ministry.
Yeah, it's a long thing.
Which you think did not...
That was wrong. In all its aspects, it was wrong. And they were dealing directly with the ministry. GFF traveling with the ministry. Hardly you have any sports council member or board member moving with them.
Yeah, but this all thing came after, I think, when you were in a deadlock with the GFF at the time. You were the chairman and...
This was not during the deadlock, because when I hand over everything to the police, we did an investigation. Yeah. The police did an investigation, and they've established that what I said was right. You know, in fact, we engaged the National Assembly. The National Assembly asked the police to investigate. The police investigated. They have their findings, and they advised us to take action. If I say take action and I decided to suspend, is that not an action? It's the same on even the National Assembly to come around to tell the National Sports Council now they did not say that. When you advise, take necessary actions. After the investigation revealing that,
do you see that as you see that as a politic was playing in this case or what?
Come on, that's what I told you. This politics is destroying our sports. Good people who even want to chip in the sports are taking a backseat.
Yeah, but many
veterans are in this country. Yeah. Look at Biri. We're celebrating. May God give him Jannah Firdaus. We celebrated when he died. When that guy should have been celebrated, giving that honor, not just mere thing going to give him a certificate at a banquet or what. No.
That was the late Biri Njai.
Yeah.
Okay. I know, like I said, I of course have, you know, I have many follow-up questions to what he's just talking about, but time wouldn't allow us. I just want us to talk on the newly appointed minister. What do you think he should be his new direction in a bid to avert or to bring sanity in Gambian sport? Because there are a lot of divisions, as you may know, the brouhaha and all that, as many would call it, in Gambian sports. What are your expectations? Do you think he is the right man to get us to the dreamland?
Well, I think if I know Bakari, if I say I know him very well, I'll be lying. Or if I say I don't know him also, I will be lying. Yeah. And it's not need for me to say that. But I know he's a very astute person. He's committed to his responsibilities. He's a youth person. And I know the role given to him is very, very enormous. It's so gigantic. And I believe he's a focused man, I believe. And I believe he's also up to the task. And even prior to this, he should be able to affair himself with youth matters, especially sports. Yeah. So nobody can inform him what should be or what should not be. My advice to him would be he has to be very bold. He has to be very, very bold, and he must not take those niceties. Because there will be so many people coming around him, A, B, C, D, and they will be so deceiving. Because here, everybody has an agenda. And you want...
In Gambian sports?
Yes, in Gambian sports. You want your agenda, you want to see your agenda fulfilled or followed. And then if he wants to follow those things, he will miss the whole point.
Do you think he could be that different minister that can bring us success and or help us to
he can definitely be. He need to be engaging. He need to be interacting with people, involved, and let it be participatory. Let it be participatory, involve stakeholders, you know, try to diagnose what are the ills in our sports, and to be able to diagnose those things quickly, you know, and address it as soon as possible. Right. Because otherwise, if it drags on, he will miss whatever assignment or whatever he may come up with. Because I know he has a vision. The vision is to revolutionize our sports, especially our sport administration. Our sport administration is poor. There's no transparency in our sport administration.
Yeah, you talk about transparency, but how do you think he could go about this? And you have been into the sports matters or issues for quite a long while. What are some of the most challenging issues that he can't just afford to regularize in this case, and if Gambian sport have to be on the right footing, that you think is the main constraint or hindrances in Gambian sports?
To make things easier for him, Sports Council must be given their full responsibility. That's the body. That is main advisory body.
And again, just to say, the National Sports Council was established by an act of parliament.
An act of parliament. So Sports Council must be given its responsibilities. Okay. It must be seen to be functioning.
Not only by name.
Not by name. But Sports Council today is by name. Look, we may all have different ideas about the players at the Sports Council or the Secretariat. But I can tell you, there are good guys within the Secretariat. Excellent boys. Okay. Sports Council is full of people that really know our sports. But even at that level, because of this politics, you see, all our regional chairmen are being sidelined. Any sporting activities happening, most of them, hardly they are involved. If it is not Sports Council related activity, even GFF, they sideline all those guys. They have what they call football association, and this football association should be monitored by the Sports Council, Regional Sports Council. And those people, they don't even care about those Regional Sports Council chairmen or presidents. Okay. They don't. Okay. Because they see they are on the GFF, so they are not answering to any other person but to GFF.
Okay.
Any activity, even if it is football or whatever, they still don't count them. They always count them out.
Which you think is not the right thing
It's completely wrong.
Okay. Then the minister is expected to support
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said he need to support Sports Council, because Sports Council is a body that is completely ignored. No adequate funding, and now they ask for we initiated this sports levy. It is approved. Millions are lying down there. Now the Hadrami is using that money for other aspects. We say Sports Council for sports. Yeah. Now he's using that for youth development. He's using it for other activities. Yeah. I'm coming. No, I would have to say this because he did a lot of damage. He did a lot of damage. This letter alone is giving the other sporting councils to ignore a body that is enacted by the National Assembly.
Yeah, but then
that's why Sports Council is being disrespected. That honor has to be restored. Their responsibilities has to be restored. And they are not even provided with logistics. How can they even cover the whole country? All our regional chairmen, not a single person has a vehicle to monitor his region. How can we develop? Go to other areas. Ask Musa Mendi. I have great respect for that guy. He once told me, Mr. Dabo, we call Rwanda, is it Rwanda or Botswana? Yeah. They came and learned from the Gambia, and they went and developed their sports council. You see there, every sector within the sports council or every position has a division that he's managing. And they learned it from us here.
Okay, interesting. And I think the Honorable Minister, the newly appointed Minister, I think have a big thing that awaits. But Gambians are hopeful. Young people are hopeful. The sport fraternity equally are very well hopeful. And finally, of course, on your final note, of course, you have already given some of your advices to the newly appointed minister. And I would just ask finally of the...
In fact, interesting, before you come to finally, yeah. This was when, in March 2018, just remember, you are the support body to the Sports Council. You subvent fund Sports Council. Now, ministry under Hadrame, taking a loan from Sports Council of $600,000 and up to today, it's not paid.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You have...
It's so pathetic.
These are on record?
It's on record. Go to Marshall, unless they pay it today. But up to the time I left, up to yesterday, that amount is not refunded. $600,000. So how do we expect Sports Council, when a fund that they should be able to control, that is their brainchild, the sports levy, they toil for it, and the board gave them the approval,
Yeah, yeah.
And now, even if you don't control the full, but be part of
Thank you.
its management, so that how much is coming out, and where is it going.
Okay.
But as of today, you know, the dreams of our athletes, our sporting bodies are dead, because that sport fund that is meant to help them, they don't even have an idea how it is being utilized. 43 million is already spent out.
You know, we will hope to bring you back, of course, some other day, so we can widely continue this discussion. And equally, our doors are very much open for better discussions in what should take Gambian sports forward, because we need to move on as a country in all aspects, in all sectors. It has been far too long that we have been, so stagnant in many sectors. But Mr. Dabo, I know we have definitely so many issues to talk on this and other matters also, because of course I wanted you to give us, just in a minute, what is your final assessment in Gambian sport overall? I mean, not only football, over the past years, let's say since the new advent of the new government, how do you think we have done, in your view? Just finally, in a minute.
Well, I believe we are progressing when it comes to the athletes, because like if you can take example of Guinea-Bas, the volleyball, the achievements they are making, you see, you have that passion with the athletes, and likewise the fans. But when it comes to the final thing, the administration is completely out of the blue, because there is no transparency.
But the future is bright.
The future is bright, but the administration must do things right.
Thank you very much.
You know, that way we'll be able to get our athletes to participate fully, because whatever is due them, they'll be able to have it.
Thank you very much.
So we must be transparent, and we must take it seriously. Government must take it seriously, and the Sports Council must be equipped. All the regional offices must be equipped. If government really wants to achieve, look, from 2015, the sport policy, what have we achieved? 2015 to 2019, nothing meaningful has been achieved.
All right. Thank you. These are all things that we need
Do we have to continue like that as a sporting nation?
Yeah.
No.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Bori Dambo has been our guest in this morning's Good Morning Africa program. But like I said, we will continue the discussion some other time. But for now, thank you very much, Mr. Dabo, and it was good to have you on this platform.
Thank you. I think 30 minutes is not enough for Mr. Dabo, because I know.
We have so many issues that we could have talk about, but it was good to have you. Like I said, it's a start. We are just starting today, but he will come so many other times, so we can discuss so many in Gambian sports and other issues as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Dabo. It was good to have you. And we'll just take a short break, and up next is the newspaper review.
Star GSM felay promotion bana fena molye minul be mararing tanko bundala Gambia banko kanjang minubuko policeol armed forceol immigration customs ani lanjurtol datalar bala keta smartphone la minka sanu wini woro la sang wini woro doma isasoto minka sanu wini woro sang wini lulu minka sanu wini lulu sang wini nani manda smartphone doma simple phone fanan minul kasanu kemelula sang kemenani talulu milbe kemenani talulu sang keme sabatalulu ning original techno simple phone minu kasanu keme konontola sang keme woro isasoto mobile ambulance odum keme woro domma Star GSM ya tabletu soto le pro dinningol wuli killing keme sey domma isa soto nyin tabletul milka sim card uta wili fula keme saba isa soto HD universal remote ul fanam bijele flat screen ul mini yalon ko la receiver be konole 42 lombang wala 43 inches isi soto no $4,999 wala $8,999 Star GSM manda wodom mala ngani original face mask sol sotole minsal tanka coronavirus sotola nga air freshenal fanan sotole pour alla sabati dinkiral aning official nyim bala muran tulul fanan bijele nyim flash kopol ka bonali america al se muna fangala al official do wara alla sabati dinkiral pour jikando wala jisuma anda se sambano tilo mume nga nyin designer spray fanan sotale min zero ka tarafengo bala fo monturo wati monni nani andi botanam france le anin dubai isina jibe no na bumbato min fele kombosila drive serekunda OJ Johnson nyati lingol wala nanyun kunkilim bitikol min fele talindi marseto anin tabo koto traffic light oto isen kumandino 700-2494 wala 990-1122 Star GSM mfanankan kato dango kele puru mimbe banko sambala nyato Star GSM.
All right, welcome back, and we are into the final half of this morning's program, and of course the week's Good Morning Africa edition, of course. And news review now. Joining me to do that is Julden Suare. he will take us through what the newspapers are reporting this morning. And Julde, good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to GMA. We missed you. Where were you?
I was around just doing other stuff. I was just doing other stuffs, but I'm back. Good morning to all the viewers that are listening on the Good Morning Africa program. Today we start with the Standard newspaper. We have Standard, we have Point, and of course we have the Foroyaa newspaper on the Good Morning Africa program. We are going to start with matters of the Standard newspaper. Okay. And Standard is saying IEC defense planned introduction of paper ballot, and NOP leader says fighting corruption will top his party's agenda, and ombudsman summons PS Banja over fisheries bribery scandal, and brothers drown at Palma River. Finally, on the Standard newspaper, KMC imposes fines for stray animal owners. We just quickly take a look at one or two stories on the Standard newspaper. We'll start with the ombudsman summons PS Banja over fisheries bribery scandal. The office of the ombudsman has summoned PS Banja of the Ministry of Fisheries over the bribery allegation currently making rounds on social media and conventional media. The Ombudsman's office is the latest government institution to open an independent probe into allegations of corruption that have engulfed the Fisheries Ministry. The Ombudsman has since Tuesday invited the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Bamba Banja, to its headquarters. He was questioned and also requested to furnish the Ombudsman with relevant documents, including those relating to the work of the committee that handles out court settlements pertaining to illegal fishing in Gambian waters. Detail of that on the Standard newspaper. Well, Mr. Banja. Yeah.
He has been making the headline for the wrong reasons.
Seriously.
Over the past couple of days or so.
Yeah.
But then we wouldn't comment much on it though. Yeah. But let's see what happens. And
finally,
ombudsman also are involved, right?
Yeah, he's someone by the
police also
ombudsman.
are doing their own investigation into
exactly.
We'll see.
So we see what will come out. Yeah, the outcome of the investigation.
Sure.
We move on to another story. Brothers drown at Palma River. Police in Kotu yesterday discovered bodies of Carlos Mendy and Vincent Mendy, said to be brothers who were believed to have drowned while swimming at Palma River Beach. They were identified by one Slick Mendy, said to be their mother, who visited the scene after their discovery. Detail of that on the Standard newspaper.
Very unfortunate.
Unfortunate, yeah.
So sad though.
Two brothers.
Yeah, that difficult time for the family.
Exactly.
I know. Well, it's really sad anyway. But wow, this is
our condolence to the family.
To the families, and then I think it's high time that also much is done to protect young people from these rivers. People are really losing their lives in this river. And something else.
It's really devastating.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We move on to the Point newspaper and look at what their headline making stories are for this morning. This one is saying Kauru Kung crossing point in danger, expensive, and witness blasts Jame for HIV treatment lies, and Court of Appeal instructs High Court judge to continue with NIA 9 case, and finally COVID-19 Gambia registers 2 new cases. That is what the Point is reporting this morning, but we will just look at one story on the Point newspaper. That is Kauru Kung crossing point in danger, expensive. The Kauru to Kung crossing point is in danger and too expensive for people and goods crossing from one end to the other, according to users of the crossing point linking Kauru to Nyamina. According to them, the crossing point is no more safe for people and goods. According to them, the ferry has not been operational for a long time, thus affecting the lives and livelihoods of people within the areas, especially of Nyamina, who now face a huge challenge in accessing the Kauru and Farafenni hospitals as well as other business centers. Details of that on the Point newspaper. Kauru Kung.
Kauru Kung.
Yeah.
In danger.
Yeah, and expensive.
Yeah, so that's something
and people in those areas are finding it difficult to cross to other areas to have their medical attention, and of course to settle other businesses in other communities.
Yeah. I think there should be an urgent action or reaction or whatever to this,
exactly.
Fortunate situation.
Before it brings more harm than good to the, inhabitants of those areas.
Yeah, they struggle a lot, to move around within those area or vicinity. I think that's something else.
Yeah. Finally, to the Foroyaa newspaper, and Foroyaa is saying, eye specialist harps on the importance of scaling up cataract surgeries in Gambia to clear backlog of cases. And Gambia government disposes $32,915,880 for Gambian students studying abroad. And NAMS train on budget scrutiny, and heavy rains destroy houses in Nema. Editorial on the Foroyaa newspaper is saying, does the 1997 constitution protect the APRC? That is the editorial on the Foroyaa newspaper. And their question of the day for this morning is saying, is the ministry providing face masks to all students or schoolgoers, or have they left the burden with parents? That is what the Foroyaa newspaper have come up with for this morning. We are going to look at the eye specialist harps on the importance of scaling up cataract surgeries in Gambia to clear backlog of cases. A renowned Gambian eye specialist has made a clarion call for the country to scale up its efforts towards conducting cataract surgeries in a bid to clear the backlog, which is believed to be affecting hundreds of people. Dr. Abba Hydra, who is the Chief Executive Officer for Sheikh Zayed Regional Eye Care Center, revealed in an exclusive interview recently that cataract is currently the leading cause of blindness in the country, and that for every 150,000 to 200,000 people, there are about 200 operable cataracts in the country. It's really scary. Cataract, people who are affected with it, and now that he's saying that people need to scale up the surgeries of cataracts, people who are suffering from cataracts, in order to reduce the number, because it is really increasing in the country gradually.
All right. Well, that's all I think we have today.
That does it for today's news in newspaper review.
All right. Thank you very much, Julde Njai Suare, and rendezvous next week, inshallah. I hope they will not mess you all up.
I hope so, yeah, they will.
Yeah, she promised to be back, and I think she will, inshallah. Julde Njai, thank you very much, for the newspaper review. Well, viewers, that's all we have for you for today, and of course for the week. And of course we want to say that thank you very much for the pleasure of your company. It has been indeed a very good moment to be with you on this edition and other edition on Africa TV, and wherever you might be watching. Once again, we say thank you, and do have a very pleasant weekend wherever you are. Stay safe, and of course till we meet again next week, Monday, for a brand new week edition of the Good Morning Africa. Well, mbokk yi jërë ngeen jëfati ci ànd bi ngeen di ànd ak ñun toujours suñu ay jotaay ñu amoon mbégte lool ci ànd bi ngeen di ànd ak ñun saa su ne ci kër gi, waaye tamit ci week bi yëpp ñu àndoon ak yéen ci jotaay jële di Good Morning Africa. Fii la ñoo yemandi tey, waaye tamit ci week bi incha allah bu ci yàlla àndee ci next week Monday ñu dellusiwaat ci beneen édition ak ay yeneen mbir ci yeneen ponki waxtaan, lépp rek pour luy jëmale réew mi ci kanam. Balaa loolu wala of course ñu ñaanal leen ngeen am jàmm fi ngeen mënta nekk, waaye tamit ngeen amee very very peaceful and enjoyable weekend. Balaa loolu rek ñu wax leen jërë ngeen jëfati ci safo bi ak ci kóolute bi. Bye bye.